Welcome back to CARAHCAST, the podcast from CARASoft, the trusted government IT solutions provider. Subscribe to get the latest technology updates in the public sector. I'm Anthony Jimenez, your host from the CARASoft production team. On behalf of GovExec and CARASoft, we would like to welcome you to today's podcast focused around FedRAMP. This moderated keynote will cover some of the challenges he faced, how his team addressed them, where those initiatives are delivering results, and why it's important to have room to fail.
What I think is really cool about this conversation, Bob, is that we have talked all day today about the technical stuff, about security, and the techniques that people are using. And you don't want to talk about that stuff. Well, I mean, it's not that you don't want to. That's not fair. I said that wrong. But you wanted to focus on culture. And what I think is really good about that is culture is the piece of this that just about everybody, whether it's the industry side or the government side, says, we got to get that right. Because the technology, these companies all have terrific technology solutions, and they are all more than happy to tell you about them.
I'm aware.
You focused on that when you went into CISA a couple of years back. What did you find culture-wise when you got there? And how did you determine what the actions were, what the steps you needed to take were to get from what you saw then to where you want it to be, whether it's today or at some future point where you're still working toward that goal?
Sure. So I think some of the things, like I noticed right away, I came back to government to come back over as the CIO of CISA, and it was very clear. I took over an organization that was scared of technology, scared of change, and an agency still trying to find itself. They had been NPPD for a long period of time. They hadn't been CISA very long. We're only on our really first full administration as an independent agency as part of DHS. So there was a lot to do. And if we didn't get the culture stuff right, like all the other stuff doesn't matter. So what we really did at first was, I refocused. My office is pretty small compared to other offices I've led in the federal government, and even small compared to, say, the Cybersecurity Directorate of CISA. We're about, for every employee I have, they have 10 to 12 employees. So we're a little bit over 100 feds right now, and then we've grown a lot in the last 2 years. So I made a quick shift to hire very technical feds, sometimes more senior than had been there before, people that really live and breathe this stuff, and then people that really want to be part of the mission. Like that's what's really critical to us, is to be embedded with our customers, because we're working with some of the best. And if I'm going to ATO their systems, I need really good people to work through that. So that's been kind of what I focused on. So we need very technically adept federal employees and people that just, kind of know what they're doing. And that was something that we had to really change in the office. And now we're kind of in, officially it's been 2 years this week. We've really dramatically changed how the office is viewed. So now we're a place that people from other parts of CISA are asking to come work in. And we're now doing some really cutting-edge technology solutions and providing services to the agency that we weren't before. So that's been, really gratifying.
If this was a sports team and let's say you came into it sounds like in rebuilding mode, and then there's the talent acquisition mode where, okay, now we're starting to, I think I can see where we're going to be good. And then there's where, say, the Orioles are, where they're really good now.
I'll take your word for it.
Please don't. Best record in the American League, by the way. Sorry. But
I'm an IT guy.
Well, at least you didn't say I'm a Yankee fan, which would mean this
Red
conversation that's not bad. They're really good now and kind of hitting a crest. Where would you say you are on that continuum? Are you hitting the crest yet?
I think we are. So we actually, and we could have, great arguments in the audience and good discussions about the validity of the FISMA scorecard measuring your cyber posture.
Oh, I don't think people would argue with you.
I don't think they would either. It does provide a metric that we're measured about